Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I'm Matt Roast here with Jessica Bun Bun, and this is our Sweetpea Season 1, Episode 4 reaction and review. We're well past the halfway point,
Mhm.
guys. This is only a 6 episode show. I'm going to come out here and say this. I think Sweetpea might be the most underrated show of the year so far, in
Mm.
my opinion. The whole year is not over yet. We still have a little ways to go. I mean, Bad Sisters is premiering before too long, and I'm in the middle of season 1, and right now I'm just like, this may be one of the most underrated shows I've seen in a really long time. But
Wait till you get to that finale.
I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited to talk about Sweet Pea too, just because why aren't more people watching this show? I think every single episode, I am really surprised by something that they do, and it's surprised in a good way. It's not a surprised in the, oh no, this show is going off the rails.
I will say this. I was not surprised that she didn't kill Julia. That after the last episode 3, where she had Julia, and I was like, oh my God, like what's going to happen? I can't believe that this is happening right in the middle of the season. I felt very confident that Julia was not going to get killed. However, it
Yeah.
wasn't for the reason that they presented, which was really good.
Yeah, I think my big surprise coming out of this was I was kind of really thinking that, all right, if Julia is going to find a way out of this, she's gonna, turn on the charm or try to convince her or do something
Mhm.
to really get into Rhiannon's head. And she really doesn't do that much. It's more Rhiannon doing her own sort of reconnaissance and going to Marcus and sort of seeing all these people around her, where she's eventually able to come to this conclusion that something's not quite right. And then Julia starts to make a little bit of a case, and we get to that point. I didn't expect the course of events to play out like that. I'm really happy.
Yeah, it turned out a lot better than I thought that it could have turned out. This show has really surprised me. I thought it was going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be quite this good.
Yeah.
But before we get into it all, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're
Mhm.
going to be here every week talking about Sweet Pea for the rest of the season. We don't want you to miss any of
No.
those. We're also going to be covering Silo. That's going to be coming up. Dexter's coming up. We're still covering From here at the channel. If you're looking for other kind of fun
Mhm.
thrillers, check out Before on Apple TV. It is
Yes.
so good, and we are covering that here. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed. It really helps us.
Yeah, it means the world to us. And if you do want to support us further, join our Patreon. We have a link in the description below there. Right now, we are in the midst of covering The Penguin on HBO, which has been a really, really fun time. And moving forward, exclusively there, we're going to be taking on Dune Prophecy, which is coming pretty soon to HBO, as well as Landman, which is a
Yeah.
new Paramount Plus show coming from Taylor Sheridan, who does Yellowstone and a million other shows. But thank you so much for supporting us on
Mhm.
Patreon. That means a whole lot to us. We really appreciate that.
Okay, so let's talk about the Julia situation.
Yes.
How many of you guys, let us know in the comments, thought that Julia was still going to be alive this episode? I did.
Yeah.
However, I think for me, I wasn't sure why she wasn't going to kill Julia. Like, what was it that was going to stop her? Was
Yeah.
somebody going to show up? Was she going to get away? I didn't think that it was really going to be her getting in her own head
Yeah.
about the things that Julia has done in the past, and that Julia's control over her still is strong, even if Julia doesn't say anything. That the things that Julia has done to her have so much control over her life, over herself, pulling out her hair, even her as an adult now. She can't get past it. That when it comes to her actually holding that knife up to Julia's throat and being ready to, like, here we go, I'm finally getting it, she has this block and she's unable to do it because Julia still has that control over her in a way that I think she didn't realize was still there, was still happening. She felt she had the control now. She's been, killing people,
Yeah.
feeling good, getting confidence, and not realizing that she actually doesn't have as much control over herself as she thought she did. I thought it was so wonderfully done.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how this show's playing around with the human psyche in a lot of ways, because I feel like if Rhiannon does take out Julia, she kind of has to force herself to move on in a way, because in everything is fully in the past, and I don't think she can allow herself fully to do that yet. Like, whether it's conscious or not, I think throughout a lot of this episode, she's looking for some other reason to justify a different solution. And I mean, eventually she finds one when coming up to this realization that this perfect life she thought that Julia had is not perfect at all. And
Mhm.
it's a little bit more akin to, okay, you and I maybe aren't that different. So then I can keep holding on to this. I can keep finding another sort of way to justify moving forward. But the problem that Rhiannon is not thinking about here, and she might be deluding herself into avoiding it, is this idea of, well, I can't keep Julia here forever. Does she think that hypothetically she's going to go and take out Marcus? Does that mean that all is forgiven and Julia's just going to let her get away with it?
That's exactly where I think it's going. But this show really surprises me, so it may not end up going there. But I think that she will end up kind of wheeling and dealing something. Julie's going to tell her whatever she wants to hear
Yeah.
so she can get out of this. That, maybe she is just going to go and take care of Marcus for her and be like, you're free now. I helped you. I'm your savior. We're even now, kind of thing. And Julie is going to be like, cool, see ya. I'm going to the police.
Yes, it's a situation here where because Rhiannon is unhinged, it's not a big logical leap that okay, she's not seeing something that would literally be obvious to every other person out there.
The only thing that I could think that she could do to make it that Julia would not go is if she left some sort of evidence that
Mhm.
it was Julia that did this and not her. But she hasn't been that crafty when it
Yeah.
comes to covering up her crimes or making it look like someone else is doing. I mean, she's doing a whole piece on Julia missing
Yeah.
and knows that Julia's in her garage.
It's this is a big problem for her. If she was a little bit more crafty and capable of thinking that far ahead, she could easily, especially as a reporter, paint a story here where Julia took out Marcus because
Yep.
Marcus was terrible and then she just went on the run for a really long time and that's eventually what ends up happening and that maybe she's eventually found, but Rhiannon can help to cover her up and make sure that doesn't get out there if she goes along with what she wants. But it's
Right.
just, she is so unhinged on that deep emotional level right now where I think she's just veering all over the place because she's never felt like this. It's sort of like you go to this is a bit terrible analogy. I'm throwing this out
All
there.
right.
I knew somebody once who was 22 or 23 and they had Fun Dip for the first time. You know, that amazing candy. And that's okay. You had, and then they were just completely off the walls. They did not know how to control their arms, limb, their head. It's like, this is a similar experience. She's never had this experience before. She doesn't know how to handle it.
She's having the fun dip
This is
experience.
the hashtag the Fun Dip experience.
Oh my
I
goodness.
did not think I'd be talking about Fun Dip today, but here we are.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but I think that is what's going on with her, and I just don't know if there's ever going to be a way she'll settle down enough and actually think things through.
No, because I mean, she still hasn't even changed the locks to her place yet. And people are coming and going to be able to help sell this house for her sister. So it's just kind of like
Yeah,
she's still using the same knife. She hasn't changed the locks yet. She's really tempting fate here.
yeah, and the temptations are going to keep getting worse, and this is another reason why this is probably just the 6 episode show. Unless Rhiannon skips town in the finale or just like starts killing the police, I don't know how she evades getting arrested because there's so much smoke around her and it is getting worse and worse and worse already.
Yeah, and Marina's on the case. I
Yeah.
mean, I think she made a huge mistake with Marina when she told her, "Hey, are you overlooked here? Are you overlooked by your boss? You treated badly, you invisible? We're the same. I know what it's like to
Yeah.
feel like that." And I think making that connection put a spotlight on her that I think she didn't realize she was doing. And it has made Marina more interested. She's been looking at, video
Mhm.
footage, see what's going on, sees her at the club, sees her there with Julia, sees when she leaves, sees that the timing is not what she said that it was, and then sees this story that she wrote about Julia.
Yeah.
Like she's so sloppy, and
Yeah.
that's what makes this show really exciting to watch
Yeah.
because she is so sloppy, she is so messy. How does she not get caught, especially by Marina, who's already on it?
Yeah, Marina's clearly smart, and I love a show that is a good cat and mouse game, and I think we really are in that territory now. It was a really cool decision that they made to start this episode from Marina's point of view as
Mm.
opposed to from Rhiannon's, because we kind of got to see her, oh, here are the people I want to kill, but then that clear differentiation of, but I'm not going to do it because it's against the law.
Yeah.
It was played out so well, and she's somebody who has a defined moral compass, but she understands impulses, like she understands darkness, and I think because of that, she's able to see a little bit of it in Rhiannon, who does not have any sort of social control, so does not have any awareness as to how anybody is thinking.
I love Marina. I love this character so much.
She's really, really cool. Like that, we have not spent a lot of time with a lot of these people, but I just think
No.
they're so well developed and they're so placed well in this universe that we can buy into what they're thinking.
All right, let's talk about poor AJ. This
Uh,
guy is not getting anywhere with her. He has tried. He kind of sneak got her on a date, kind of like what she did with Craig,
yeah,
where she showed up at the bar being like, "Where is everybody?" "Oh, no, it's just us. We on a
yeah.
date." "No, oh, okay." And then Craig shows up. It just went so south so badly. For a show that's as dark as
Yeah.
it is, this show is quite funny.
Yeah, it really is. And there's like, if Rhiannon was a better person, I would be rooting for this because I like AJ, and I want AJ to be happy. I even think, who doesn't love trivia night? I thought that this was such a fun.
You love trivia night.
I love trivia night. This to me is much better than karaoke. You don't have to go up on stage and embarrass yourself. You can just embarrass yourself in a group if you get the question wrong. But no, I thought he came across in a very sort of sweet and wholesome way when it comes to some of this. But I think what was important for this storyline in this episode is to have Rhiannon confronted more with something that I feel like we've all known, which is just that Craig sucks. He is the worst. He is a jerk. He has nothing apparently going for him other than that she feels like he's good looking. But you know what? This is what you get for deciding that you want to hitch your wagon to Craig. You're going to have him show up and be obnoxious and possessive. And I want to hope that gets your
Yeah.
wheels turning a little bit here.
I think the thing is she just wants the thing she felt that she was denied in life, like having, the good looking guy at school. And now she's, has this confidence and she's able to get the good looking guy as an adult, even though AJ is way better looking. Just go for the guy who really likes you.
Yes. He likes her for her. And
Yes.
she can't
Not
see it.
because she can maybe green light the business he's trying to do.
Yeah, she just does not have the awareness to see any of this. But I mean, eventually it does make me raise the question of, okay, AJ, is he just going to be blinded by his attraction to her and he's not going to be able to sort of see any of these warning signs? Because he knows that a lot of people are getting killed, and he also should start to become aware that Rhiannon seems to be bringing a lot of information on these people before anybody else.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting that nobody there has kind of started to put some of that together. I know it's a
Yeah.
little bit early on, but this is 2 cases now she's brought
Yeah.
straight to them where she has a lot of information which she shouldn't really have. Enough smoke that somebody should be wondering why she knows this stuff.
Yeah, the show it's teetering a little bit on that line. If episode 5 comes around and people are still like, you brought us another case? How do you keep, like, I'm gonna be a little bit annoyed at that point.
Listen, Dexter did that for seasons before somebody was figuring it out and Dokes was on the case being like, listen, you slippery guy, I know.
Great way to find a way to talk about Dokes without dropping any words that will get us
That's right.
demonetized. No,
Thank you.
I really do want somebody at the paper to actually start to figure some things out, just because this show is most exciting when you have a lot of different people potentially all circling her,
Yeah.
sort of like sharks. And right now, yeah, she has another danger that's present in the form of her losing the house, but that's not,
And Marina.
yeah, those aren't the same sort of dangers as everybody is starting to suspect
Yes.
you. Like, that's really where I want to see this show go.
Yeah, and I think that is where it's going. I mean, it feels like AJ probably, since he's the person who's closest to her, will start to really notice things. I mean, he's kind of mentioned a couple
Yeah.
things already, but I think going into these last 2 episodes, he's going to really start to pick up the pieces.
So we don't know what's coming up next here, but here's my idea for what I think episode 5 could be.
Okay.
I think Julia is probably going to find a way to convince Rhiannon to let her help in something when it comes to the big Marcus takedown. and then she's going to get into a spot where she can actually run away, and then she's going to run away. And then that's going to leave Rhiannon in this situation where she's really panicked, really paranoid. Eventually, Julia's going to find her way to the police, find her way to Marina, and then episode 6, it's all going to hit the fan, y'all.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like I said, I think there could be a situation where she tries to just frame Julia for the Marcus murder if that ends up happening. I think it will.
Mhm.
But, it's hard to know with her because like I said, she's not changing the locks.
Yeah.
She's not changing how she's killing people, even though it's been very clear that it's the same knife. She's like, "Bah, nobody's looking at me anyways. Who cares?" That she's just keeping on, keeping on. She's not really making any changes or covering up after herself. She just killed that guy and left him by the dumpster.
Yeah.
It was like, whatever.
What I've just really liked so far is I feel like I've been wrong with every single thing I have predicted for each upcoming episode. And
It's fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. It means that, okay, they're thinking a step ahead of me and all of us as viewers, that they're kind of just still trying to find ways to be creative. Hopefully you guys keep doing that and you stick the landing here.
Yeah, it's really hard in this genre of like thrillers and murder
Yeah.
mysteries to keep it fresh. We've been covering murder mysteries and thrillers here for years,
Yes.
and we've seen a lot. So when there is a show like this that comes along that's really fresh and is doing things that are making us go, "Oh, I can't believe it."
Yeah.
It's really fun.
All right, well, that is what we got here on Sweetpea Season 1, Episode 4. So be sure to hit that subscribe button because we're going to be here through the end of this season. Continue to blow us away,
Yep,
please.
yep.
Don't wah the ending. Okay, and if you guys want to support us more, hit that subscribe button, support us, check out our Patreon. We've got a link in the description below. We're covering the Penguin exclusively over there. Thank you to our patrons. We'll see you here next time.